Hi everyone, it's Marianne. Welcome to Very Merry Plantmas, and today I'm sharing with you my 2022 wish list plants. Thank you so much for joining me today, and this is a Very Merry Plantmas where we take a look back on our plant journey in 2021 and celebrate the holiday season. And 2022 is very much fast approaching. The year just went by really quick, and usually during this time I share my wish list plans for the upcoming year. And in previous years, most of the plants that I mentioned in my wish list plans are plants that I did actively seek out and were willing to pay a good amount of money for to include in my plant collection. And if I do end up not getting them, those are plants that I pretty much changed my mind on. Kind of like with the variegated banana plant that was part of my wishlist plants from last year. And honestly, I actually did attempt to include it in my plant collection this year back in January. And some people might know this story if you were subscribed to my newsletter, that I bought some variegated banana seeds and I was trying to hopefully germinate them and have variegated banana plants that way, because actual variegated banana plants are pretty expensive and very hard to come by, and normally the only way that you could get them is to import them. But nowadays you could actually find it in local nurseries. I found it in two local nurseries in the DC area. One is from H Street Farms, which is now closed, but I think they're going to have a new location pretty soon, and in Plants Alive in Silver Spring. So now it's a little bit more accessible, but the plant is still very much expensive. And aside from the price, the reason that I kind of changed my mind on the variegated banana plant is they have very high demands as a plant. And even the plants that I see in nurseries and greenhouses don't really do that well because they really need optimal condition in order to survive. So if I'm going to invest in such a plant and bring it back to the conditions that I have in my home, I don't think that plant will survive in my care. So until a time that I can provide a great and optimal condition for a variegated banana plant, then maybe that's the time that I would finally add it into my plant collection. But right now I'm gonna pass on it, especially with the price tag it currently has. But for my wish list plans for the upcoming year, I kind of want to do something different. As you might know, if you've been following me for a while, I've been trying to downsize and curate my houseplant collection. And right now I'm at a place with my houseplant collection where I'm really happy with the plants that I have, and I don't have a huge desire to add new plants into my plant collection. I mean, there's a couple plants that I do want to add to my plant collection, like the Epipremnum pinnatum variegata, a more mature form of that, and maybe a Scindapsus tricolor. But aside from those two, there's not really a plant or a plant genus that I really want to be part of my plant collection next year. So for my 2022 wishlist plants, I want to try something different. This might not be the plants that I'm actively seeking or willing to pay a huge price on, especially in the past and maybe even now, but these are plants that I'm willing to give a chance or a second chance. These are plants that I was told that weren't great for plant beginners, that they are too finicky, or they're not just as popular or very hyped up in the plant community. But this time I want to give them a chance, especially since I'm already in my third or fourth year in my plant journey. So maybe the plants that I was told weren't great for beginners, it's about time for me to actually find out for myself what kind of plants that they are, and maybe I'm missing out on some really great plants. So for my wishlist plants for 2022, I'm going to mention plant genuses that I have actively stayed away from, but now would like to give them a second look or a chance in 2022. And I'm going to mention a couple of varieties or species within those genus. And if you have any plant recommendations on any of the plant genuses that I'm gonna mention in this video, please let me know down in the comments. I'll be very happy to find out more. Because again, these are plant genuses that I don't really know much about, except for maybe the one or two plant varieties that I might mention in this video that are well known within the houseplant community. First one for me is the Alocasia. For me, I've always been biased against Alocasia because for me, I've always viewed Alocasias as outdoor plants growing up in the Philippines. They have always been just outside growing anywhere. So it's a plant that I wasn't really super interested in. And of course, Alocasias take up a lot of space, and space is something that I don't really have anymore, especially for large plants. But the thing about Alocasias, and I've tried this during the past year, is I got some taro root from the Asian grocery store and planted it outside, and they actually grew, and they grew pretty well. I mean, they're not like variegated Alocasias, they're like just typical regular green Alocasias. But since Alocasias can survive the winter here in Maryland, or at least, you know, the bulbs themselves can survive winter and regrow back in the spring. So I think I could try my hand in more alocasia plants. And I don't know though, for the alocasias that I'm thinking of, they would actually survive being outside. But again, this is just me trying it out and seeing how well they do for me, since the couple of alocasias that I planted outside this year or maybe last year has done pretty well in the past year. For one, I'm thinking about the Alocasia zebrina. I've seen it like once, maybe twice at a big box store, so I know I could get it for a pretty good price, because I know a lot of Alocasia plants can have a pretty high price tag. So I kind of like want to keep it also in like the midpoint and not spend too much on these plants that I don't really know about, or honestly I'm not really that excited about, but I just very curious about them and really want to learn more about them. I also know like one time when, I don't think they did it this spring, but like last spring at Walmart, they sell different types of bulbs of alocasia or elephant ears, and some of them are actually variegated ones. Not the alba variegated, although in TikTok I saw one lady was able to find a variegated alocasia plant, a huge one, at their local Lowe's and big box stores. And I've always been at the lookout since that maybe I'll have the same luck and find a variegated alocasia plant for a big box store price. And I also had like a chance to trade for an alocasia maharani earlier this year. I passed on it because I wasn't really interested in alocasia. I still don't see them as indoor plants, to be honest. And if I'm going to try my hand on them for next year, they're definitely going to be outdoor plants for me. So if you have any recommendations for alocasia plants, let me know down in the comments. The next plant for me is the begonia. I don't really see the hype in begonias. I know it's actually very popular within the houseplant community, especially those who are into terrariums. And I don't know, for me, I don't really like the shape of them, the look of them. And I know they come in many different colors and varieties. None of them really interested me, except maybe for the Begonia maculata. I saw it a couple of times in a botanical garden. I really found it to be beautiful, especially with those white polka dots. And I know it has been mass produced already by Costa Farms, which now makes it very accessible, but still I'm not very interested in getting it when it came out as part of the Live Trends collection. So maybe next year I'll give it a try, because honestly I've seen those Begonia maculatas in clearance section at Lowe's. So if I could get it at a discount on a clearance price, I could try my hand on it. And I know begonias also make good outdoor plants. I don't know, in Maryland we're in zone 7, we can try, and I could also try it as an indoor plant, because like I said, I do like the look of the Begonia maculata, but from what I know, begonias are kind of finicky plants to take care of as indoor plants, kind of like also with caladiums and similar types of plants. I don't see them as indoor plants, I see them more as outdoor plants. But again, I'm willing to try my hand on a begonia, maybe a Begonia maculata as an indoor plant, and we'll see how it goes. Next one is Calathea. I know you've been expecting that, and maybe when I mentioned I'm going to try my hand on plant genuses that are unpopular or we were told to stay away from, you immediately thought of Calathea. And honestly, I had my eye on a lot of Calathea plants because they come in many different varieties and many different colors, and they're beautiful plants, but they just have a reputation of plants that are not great for beginners and very hard to take care of. And earlier this year, I tried my hand on Calathea White Fusion, and that didn't work out well for me. Like, I thought the Calathea White Fusion was such a beautiful plant, and I really wanted it to work out for me, but nothing I did made that plant happy. So that plant eventually died in my care. I do have the Stromenti Trio Star, and that one has been working out for me. So if I could find a Calathea that is similar to the Stromenti Trio Star in care, then maybe I would take a plunge in it. But I know for some people, they have a hard time with the Stromenti Trio Star as well, even though it is dubbed as the Easy Care prayer plant, but I had good luck with it. So if you know any similar plant like the Stromenti Trio Star, in terms of care, it doesn't have to look the same, I would like to know. I had my eye on the Calathea ornata for the longest time, like the one with the pink stripes, so maybe I'll try my hand in that when I see it at a nursery or a big box store next time. And there's also the Great Star Calathea or Marantha. and the White Star Calathea or Marantha that I also think looks really good and doesn't take up too much space and looks a little bit more different than any other plants that I currently have. So maybe I'll try my hand on those as well. But honestly, my main concern with like having this type of fishless plants or taking a chance on these plants in the coming year is I kind of have been already in the comfort zone, or I guess gotten a little bit lazy with the plants that I have because they're easy maintenance plants and I don't really have to put a lot of effort in them to be able to take care of them. So taking on these plants that I'm mentioning in this list, I know it's gonna require additional effort from me that I don't know if I'm willing to give right now or maybe even next year, but maybe that's what I need. I need to spice it up. I need a new challenge so I don't get too complacent or get too comfortable with my plant collection and plant journey. I have to keep it exciting, and maybe trying my hand on this plant genuses that I've been avoided would do the trick. And the next one is peperomias. Peperomias are actually very popular with houseplant people, and those who are into it are really into it, kind of like Nick Pelagi. Everybody knows him. He is known for having such great peperomia collection, and every time I watch his videos on his peperomias, it makes me want to take a plunge into more peperomias. I have a Peperomia prostrata string of turtles, and that's pretty much it. I do also have a Peperomia Hope, which I'm not really excited about, but I got it in a plant swap. I still have it with me, and each time I'm thinking of decluttering my plants or trading my plants away, I always think of giving away that plant, but so far it's still in my possession. And I also had a Peperomia obstrophilia variegata that I also ended up just giving up earlier this year, and I also had a Peperomia pixie that I got through a swap that I also ended up giving away, I think last year or maybe also earlier this year. So there's not a lot of Peperomia plants that interest me, to be honest. And I know for a time the Peperomia watermelon was kind of like the it plant to get, kind of like with the Pilea peperomioides. And again, each time I also see it, especially now this part of the Costa Farms Live Trends collection, I kind of want to try my hand on it. But quickly, I'm always reminded of the struggles other people have with the watermelon peperomia, and also reminded of my own struggles with the Pilea peperomioides, a plant that I've also have given up this year because I can't really take care of it anymore and it's not giving what it's supposed to give. The peperomias are generally beautiful plants. It doesn't have to be the rare ones. Even the common ones like the Peperomia frost are really beautiful plants and looks like they are easy care plants maybe. I don't know. I don't know where we at with peperomias, if they're easy care or not easy care, or they're just like kind of in the middle. And I know like now the Peperomia pink marble or the Peperomia pink lady is kind of like the it peperomia to get nowadays. I don't really see the appeal in it. Yes, it's a little bit pink variegated, but I don't think it's a pretty pink variegation, kind of like a pink variegation that you'd see in some Hoya tricolor plants. But again, if I see a peperomia next year that really catches my eye and really interests me, I am very much open and willing to try my hand on a new peperomia plant. So there's two more that I want to mention, and the penultimate one is philodendron plants. And philodendron plants are probably one of the most popular, if not the most popular, plant genus within the plant community, but I'm not very interested in them, to be honest. I mean, I do have philodendron hydroeaceum plants, but outside of those, I really don't have any interest in any philodendron plants, whether the common ones or the more rare or expensive ones. And I think the only one that I really had an eye on, at least at the very beginning, was the Philodendron gloriosum. Those can still pack quite a price when found in nurseries. But honestly, I don't think it's a plant that I am willing to spend a lot of money on. Same with the Pink Princess Philodendron. I know that's still popular even after all this time. But again, unless they drop in prices, go back to their price where you can find it for $8 before they became an online or social media star, I would probably try my hand in a Philodendron Pink Princess, or if I get it off a trade, maybe then. It's just something that I'm not willing to pay money for. And there's one philodendron that has caught my eye that I always thought about maybe getting if I could get it at the right price, is a Philodendron White Knight or a Philodendron White Princess. So it's that philodendron that is albo-variegated. So it's kind of like Pink Princess, but albo-variegated. But the thing is, I already have so many albo-variegated plants, so I don't really know what the Philodendron White Knight or Philodendron White Princess could bring into my collection that's different when it comes to being albo-variegated. But again, I'm willing to try, I'm willing to be open and see what philodendrons there that can catch my eye that I'll be willing to try my hand on and add to my plant collection next year. And the last one that I'm going to mention, I actually have a really soft spot for because I do think aglaonemas are very underrated plants. There are so many different varieties of aglaonemas that comes in many different colors and many different variegations, and yet same plants that look similar in different genus have higher price points than the aglaonema version of a similar plant. But at the same time, I do think that's a good thing. These aglaonema plants don't carry that super inflated price and makes it more accessible to anyone who wants it. But the thing is though, I did have a bad experience with aglaonema. I think the very first one that we had in the house, which became the very last one, it was a pest magnet. It had a lot of thrips and it never really recovered from it. So this is probably my concern and hesitation when it comes to aglaonemas. Same with alocasias, is they are rumored or they have the reputation of being pest magnets. So that's why I kind of like hesitated and stayed away from them for the longest time, in addition to my other reservations with these plants. So when it comes to a particular aglaonema that I want to try, of course, the Aglaonema pictum tricolor is still kind of like one of the most popular type of aglaonemas when it comes to the rare or uncommon ones. I don't think the price on that has dropped or it has become more common, and I've also heard mixed reviews on that plant compared to other aglaonemas. It's not as easy care as people might think it is, but the variegation on it is really unique, and it's a variegation that you can't really find in a lot of other plants, unlike the albo variegation, which you can find in many different types of genus of plants. The way that the pictum tricolor has the 3 different shades of green and maybe I think white sometimes is just different from any other plants that I've seen. So again, maybe try my hand on Aglaonema tricolor, but again, maybe that's the only one that I can think of because that's the only one that I know. So if you have any other recommendations on really great aglaonemas that don't break the bank, let me know down in the comments. I would love to hear about them. So those are the wish plants that I'm willing to take a risk and take a chance on in 2022. Again, if you have any recommendations of plants within those plant genus that I mentioned in this video, let me know down in the comments. Or if there's another plant genus that I didn't mention in this video that you think more people should know about or I should know about, also let me know down in the comments. I'll be happy to find out and learn more about them. That would make for an exciting part of my plant journey come next year. But yes, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you're new here, please do subscribe. I come up with videos every week. And if you miss any of my Plantmas videos, I'll link the playlist up here and also down in the description so you can watch those until you wait for my next one. But until then, I see you, I appreciate you, take care of yourself and each other, and have a plentiful holiday season. Bye!